2 parents, 6 kids, 1 dog, a camper named Ruby, and a car named The Beast. Distance learning across the USA and interviewing interesting people we meet along the way. This is the Ruby Road Stage Tour Podcast.
Hello, everybody. This is Carmen Ventrucci. I am here with the one and only Greg Reid. Welcome to another episode of the Ruby Road Stage Tour. So let me tell you a little bit about Greg. For over 25 years,
yeah, here it comes.
Here it comes, guys. For over 25 years, Greg has inspired millions of people to take personal responsibility to step into their potential for their greatness. And as such, his life of contribution has been recognized by government leaders, a foreign princess, as well as luminaries in education, business, and industry. He is a prolific author. I have one of his books right here, 3 Feet from Gold. And he is also very active in the movie industry amongst speaking engagements. And from what I hear, you're known to break into song and dance.
There you go. And it can walk on water, heal lepers.
Yes.
What?
Whoa.
There you go.
Exactly. So, Greg, the stage is yours. What would you like to talk about today?
Well, let's talk about that book, 3 Feet from Gold.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. We understand that most people have a dream, then there's a challenge, and then comes victory. Fortunately, most people quit in the challenging times.
Mm-hmm.
And so that book is based on a guy named R.U. Darby, is a gold miner.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever read Think and Grow Rich, it's
Yes.
one of those classic stories. And he literally gave up 3 feet away from the largest strike in history. And we realized that so many people
Mm-hmm.
quit right before the miracle happens.
Mm-hmm.
And so the way that you do that is that you give up because you don't seek counsel. You listen to people's opinion. And what does that mean? Well, opinions based on ignorance, lack of knowledge, and experience, where counsel is based on wisdom, knowledge, mentorship, people pave the way. So if you go to a family friend, say, I'm going to write a best-selling
Mm-hmm.
book, they might try to talk you out of it to
Mm-hmm.
protect you if they know you got a D in English. But if you go to, Mark Victor Hansen, who wrote
Mm-hmm.
Chicken Soup for the Soul, he'll say, hey, before you get started, here's what you need to know, and give you counsel based on wisdom, knowledge, mentorship. If we would spend our activity only seeking counsel and ignoring opinion, that's the day your life would change.
Wonderful. I love it. And, I feel like we're not encouraged to seek counsel by everybody. It's sometimes, depending who you're talking to, it's taboo. And you need to figure it out on your own.
Wow, that might be that circle. But
Yes.
my circle, we're the
Yeah.
opposite. All we do is we have a rule of thumb. Who's getting the results that you want
Mm-hmm.
for yourself? And here's a big word, today. So for example, if I was going to start a brand new restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
a good buddy of mine, Gene Landrum, founded Chuck E. Cheese, but he did it 40 years ago. What does that guy know, right? I'm sure he did it back then. I'd say, hey, who's doing Five Guys or In-N-Out, or who's the hot trend, and ask them what they're doing. When I went to, climb Mount Kilimanjaro,
Mm-hmm.
I did not ask a dope smoking surfer here in San Diego to take me up to the roof of Africa. I found the porters that had climbed it 900 times. Wherever they put a boot print, I put a boot print. Same thing. When I went running with the bulls in Spain, I called the guy who wrote the definitive book, say, I want to have a great time, not get killed. What do I do? And he says, that's easy. Stand right here. Bulls will go one side. People trample themselves here. You have a great experience. That's it.
That's it. It's that easy.
Yeah.
That easy. So, all right, you've made the decision to seek counsel on whatever it is you want to seek counsel on.
Every single thing that I do, because I know nothing. So the whole idea is, I don't know anything. So as you talk about movies, what do I know about making movies? Nothing. So what happened is I interviewed Frank Shankowitz. He's the founder of a nonprofit called Make-A-Wish Foundation. And I asked him what his wish was. And he says, I just want my story to be told, so my grandkids know I did something. So he signed over his life rights. And it took me years and years. So I just went to LA, found people that won Oscars and Emmys and Golden Globes, and said, how does this work? And I found that system, duplicated it. And we actually made the ballot for the Oscars last year. And we're streaming on Netflix now.
Congratulations.
Isn't that crazy?
I know. So tell people the title of the movie again so they can go find it.
It's Wish Man. You go on Netflix right now, check it out. Wish Man.
I haven't seen that one yet. I'm going to check it
Oh,
out.
you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll tell your friends.
I will. I will cry. I'm telling all of you right now. Okay, so you found the person you want to seek counsel from. How do you convince them to help you?
Well, the most successful people are the most available, and that's what's missing. Most people think they're not, but that's not true. So if you're brand new at something, you're happy-go-lucky, you're fresh, you're cool. If you're at the top, happy-go-lucky, you got nothing to prove. In the middle, pain in the neck. You're filled with ego, you're edging God out. So literally jump to the front of the line. And right now, the accessibility is so amazing. I mean, with the advent of social media, right now, everyone's available on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever. Just go directly to the thing. And the secret sauce is specificity. I'm going to tell you right now, if you got those secret sauces, is that no one wants to have their brain picked. No one wants to go to lunch with you. No one wants to have dinner. But if you can have specificity, you'll open up the doors of opportunity. Example, if I want to get to the founder of NASCAR, I would reach out and say, hey, listen, I'm working on a new book called Stickability, The Power to Persevere. I need 12.5 minutes of your time. I'll cover all my own expenses from the time I open the door till the time I leave will be 12 and a half minutes with a stopwatch. I'm asking you one question, why you didn't quit? Well, the chance of him giving me 12.5 minutes at his is a pretty much high.
Yeah.
Because it's specific, but people don't do that. They go, hey, I want to pick your brain. I want to take you out to lunch. I want to take you out. No one wants to do that. So the specificity is how you open the door. I'll give you an example. If I do a talk and there's 10,000 people, you get off and then everyone's in line. They want to meet you and sign a book, which is amazing. And they say the nicest things. How can I be of service? How can I work with you? How can I be of contribution? Wonderful. But I don't have 30 minutes to do a resume background check. Yeah. But if you come up and say, hey, loved your talk. I saw Instagram, you have 500,000 followers. I like your memes. I make memes. Let me do one for you for free and I'll send it to your phone. Within 15 seconds, I know who you are, what you do, and you got my cell phone. That's it.
That's brilliant. Wonderful.
That's it.
That's it.
Secret sauce.
Okay. So what are you seeking counsel on now? I'm making assumption, which I know can make an ass out of you and me. I'm going to do it anyways. What are you seeking counsel on now? Because I think you're always improving and you're always discovering new things. Yeah,
television. I've never done it. So I'm working in the television industry right now. I was attempting to. So I shot a pilot and a buddy of mine, I went and sought counsel. So the founder of Showtime Television, founder of the E! Entertainment Network. And I've been asking them, how does this system work? And again, they got the results years ago. So I'm taking their spin and then I'm going to local people with streaming services. We got a movie on Netflix to see what's coming next so I can have my pulse on it. And we're creating a show around that.
Awesome.
Yeah, but I know nothing about the industry, but I'm learning it. And what's cool is a good mentor is usually one step ahead of you. That's it. I'm just a student too. I'm just one step ahead and say, hey, don't step in that crack. I just did it. You want to watch out for that.
Yeah. So as we are recording this episode, it is December of 2020. We are still in quarantine. Things are still going on. It's really separating the successful people from the unsuccessful people, or the people who are getting stuck and the people who are persevering nonetheless. What is a common characteristic you are seeing in these people who are succeeding through this COVID in this quarantine time?
Well, first of all, you can do everything right and buy the book and still not have success. I think everyone's learning that right now. It's the same in 2000.
The book's being rewritten. The book is being rewritten
as we speak.
Yes.
And so that's what it is, to know that all you can do is what you can do. And door number 2, seek counsel, not opinion. So for example, there's more opportunity now for collaboration I'm seeing than ever before. Yes. And that's what I'm doing. That's what my friends are doing. So instead of competing, we're finding a way to collaborate. I'll give you an example. Let's say when things open up again, you have a pizza parlor and you're in a strip mall, and then in the corner's a liquor store and you guys hate each other, right? You guys are always fighting over parking spaces. Well, this is the time to come together and say, hey, I'll make you a deal. When things open up again, every time someone orders a pizza, what if I give them a discount for a bottle of wine? And when people come get a bottle of wine, you give them a discount for pizza. Well, that simple little thing changes everything, but it took nothing.
Those joint ventures are so important. I mean, you got to JV with other people.
It's so funny. I own the domain name Joint Venture Publishing, Joint Venture Distribution, because I'm a huge believer in it. Yeah. Again, that's what I'm seeing right now is that people are coming together. If we're in quarantine or you're in lockdown and you got an idea for a cool logo design and you know someone who prints really t-shirts, but they're out of work right now, and you know another person who makes websites, get together. Yeah. All of a sudden you collaborate, you're 3 partners, and when things come open, or even now with Etsy and all these, Shopify stores, you can go into business immediately for next to nothing and be up and running. Collaboration. That's my answer. Final answer.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So what do you recommend for people who want to collaborate? They just don't know where to start. I get this question a lot, and a lot of people, I love your specificity point because
I can answer it for you.
Okay.
Who's getting the results that you want?
Yeah.
That's it. Pretty easy. I mean, it's not rocket. Okay. Look, when I want to be a best-selling author, first of all, I got a D in English. I'm dyslexic. I can't spell and I can't really read. Play me Words with Friends. You'll win every time. But I've been published in 110 books, got a star on the Walk of Fame and an honorary PhD in literature. How did I do it? I went to Barnes & Noble. I bought every best-selling book. I didn't go to the best written books. I didn't want to be a great writing author. I want to be a best-selling author. I said, hey, what's the system? How does this work? I duplicated it. Here we are today.
Wonderful.
That's it.
That's it. Do your research.
Yeah. Who's getting the results? It's not even, you're already, look, if you're in any industry, if you're in the boot business, you know who's the best boots because you're in the boot thing. If you're an artist, you know who the top artists. If you already know that answer. Just start reaching out to them with specificity. Don't pick their brain, just with
Mhm.
specificity, and you'd be amazed how quick they get back to you.
Wonderful. I love it. Okay. So tell me, we've
How much
all,
wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
it's a lot.
Yeah.
That wasn't my question.
4 chords. Go ahead.
4 chords. What do you, okay. I know you love live events.
Mhm.
You love live events. And obviously those are kind of locked down right now.
Mhm.
What are you doing for fun? And what are you doing for that creative outlet?
Well, we've been doing the the Zoom calls. We've
Mhm.
been doing everything we can to stay productive. But I'm excited for what's coming next. I think everything's going to open up again.
Mhm.
So I'm looking at the possibility of what can be. Look, a good quarterback never throws a football where a wide receiver standing. They
Right.
throw it downfield and let them run to it. So what I'm doing right now is I'm getting ready for next year and
Mhm.
planning ahead, because I know it's like a slingshot. When this opens up again, the world is going to be running. So I'm preparing for what's coming next.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. So tell me about the secret knock.
Well, we started an event. For those who don't know my work,
Mhm.
my full-time job is I travel the world to meet the most powerful and influential
Mhm.
people, and then I tell their stories in book
Mhm.
and film. Not a bad gig, right? And people kept saying, how do I meet your friends? So I started an event in my living room, and what happened is it grew to Forbes, Inc., Entrepreneurs Top event in the world for networking and business leadership. And the way it works is this: you go to our website and you fill out an application. You can't even give us money. You have to fill out an application.
Mhm.
Someone calls you to make sure you're not a wackadoo. So,
Mhm.
you don't talk to aliens through your,
Mhm.
tinfoil hat. And then what happens is that if there's a good fit and we can be of contribution to you, we invite you in. And the way that that works is it costs $3,000 to go, and we will not tell you where it is or who will be there. You just have to trust
That
us.
sounds like fun.
Yeah, and we've been doing it for 14 years, sold out every
Mhm.
time. And then when you leave, it's so amazing. People go tell all their friends, and that's how we keep sustaining.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I love it. So let's talk about telling stories for a little bit, because I know you are one of the masters at telling stories.
Yeah, I wrote that in my resume, so people would ask that.
Well, I did my research.
Mm.
He is one of the masters at telling stories. So if people want to tell a story, whether it's, you're sitting around a campfire and having a good time, or you're on stage
Mhm.
speaking to thousands of people, what's your process?
Well, a story, look at it like a song. There's a
Mhm.
beginning, a middle, and they last about 2 to 3 minutes. That's it. And
Mhm.
then people focus on the hook, the little catchy thing, and that's it. So I have a way of telling stories that there's a message where the audience sees themselves in it,
Mhm.
rather than the speaker saying, you should do this, you should do this. Example, one of my favorites out of one of these books was Steve Wozniak, the guy who created Apple Computer with Jobs. I said, how did you and Jobs have so much success in your life? And he goes, well, we embraced our lack. So the topic of this story is lack. He said, most people run from it out of fear. He goes, we ran toward it. He said, when these little microchip processor things came out, they were so expensive, we could afford one chip. He goes, Jobs sold his Volkswagen. I sold my calculator. We pooled our money to buy one of these little magical devices. But Hewlett Packard would make machines that go from point A to point B with 20 chips. They had all the money of God. So he said, I pull away 5 and go from A to B with 15. I'd pull away 5 and get out to work with 10. Eventually, we went from A to B using our one chip. He goes, we were not trying to be innovative or cool or aerodynamic, or we could afford one freaking chip. He goes, but by embracing that as an opportunity, we found the shortest, cleanest path. And by doing that, we changed the way people do personal computing for the rest of the world, for the rest of their life. He said, where could you be in your own business right now if you stop looking at something as your greatest challenge or obstacle, but it could just be your greatest blessing, your greatest opportunity in disguise. Okay, wait. So there you go. 3 minutes. So that was like 2 minutes, right? Beginning, middle, end. Topic is going to be about whatever it talked about, lack. And then I tell a story, and then at the end of it, you see yourself into it. So the whole idea is, and the audience are going, oh yeah, that's me. What if maybe I'm looking at this as a challenge, but it could be a thing. So on stage, I just put all these songs together. I do a set list before I go out and decide what song I'm going to tell. And then I tie it all together so the audience feels like they're going on a journey.
Wonderful. I like the Setlist approach. That's the first time I've heard of that.
Well, that's how a musician does
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Same thing as me. So I have 100 songs. So I never practice a 90-minute presentation. I practice a 2-minute song. The beginning, middle, end, nowhere to pause, they think, the whole bit. And then I seam them all together when I do a presentation, depending upon the audience or how I'm feeling that day.
Okay.
That's it.
How do you get your audience to engage and participate with you?
Well, it's one of the funny things is you got to do that from the very, very beginning. So I do something really weird. I give stuff away and people aren't used to it. So what I do is I walk out on stage and say, and by the way, when you go out on stage, the beginning and the end has always got to be the same. The middle part you can mix up. But what you want is a really strong opening to engage as fast as possible. And at the end, you want something so powerful, they just remember the way they felt. Okay. So when I come out on stage, it's always the same. I never say, thank you for having me, never. So as soon as they go, Greg, Reid, I begin like a good comedian. So walking on stage, I'll say, I had a great mentor growing up. You know, he taught me, Charlie Tremendous Jones, that we're the same today as we'll be in 5 years, except for two things: the people we meet and the books we read. It's who you hang out with. It's what you put in your head that determines your character as a person. In high school, if you hung around smokers, you're a smoker. If you hung around jock, you're a jock. Same thing applies today. If we hang around people that complain, gripe, and moan, that becomes our conversation. But if we hang around people that are positive and solution searching, then that too will become the conversation that plays within our mind. Look, the time we're going to have together, I'm going to share with you some amazing people I've met along my life's journey, but more importantly, some books that everyone should have in their own success library. In fact, this one is the very first one I did called 3 Feet from Gold. Who here would like a free copy of this book? Now what happens is 2 or 3 hands go up. And then the next, and then what I keep going, and then I'll pull up another book. This is my next book. Who would like a free copy? Now 10 hands go up. By the third book, within 4 minutes, everyone's hands goes up. Now I've got the entire audience buy-in, saying, I want what you have, and I'm listening and paying attention without me ever asking them.
Wonderful. I love the subtle stage anchoring, by the way.
Yeah. Stage anchoring.
Yes, stage anchoring is key. And so getting people into that yes state, that's really what you're doing by
But
No.
I've got to be very clear. It's not a manipulation. What it is, it's getting engagement because look, they're thinking about their husbands, wives, kids, work, everything. And I just want to get their etch-a-sketch of their brain so they can be present with me, right? So that they can have the conversation. That's the reason why I'm doing that. I'm trying to get them out of their own mindset so they can be present. So when I'm telling these stories, they can start going, oh yeah, that's me. What about this? That's my whole goal, is for them to get a real message.
Wonderful.
What a concept.
So what is your dream now? Maybe you've already presented on your dream stage. If you could have a dream stage, a dream audience, who would be in that audience?
Yeah, I've already hit that golden goose. I have been very, very fortunate. So I have spoken literally on stages around the world with interpreters where, you know, you're in front of thousands of people and you're speaking and there's people with earphones listening to what you say. I got to speak at the Pentagon for all the military generals in the Pentagon, on the Pentagon stage. And a couple of years ago, I went to the Nova Summit at the United Nations and got to stand at the podium, the same place that every major politician, president, world influential people, the Pope has stood at the same exact spot and spoken to the mic. So I've been very, very fortunate.
Wonderful.
What a great gig, huh?
You do have a sweet gig.
Yeah, it's not a bad gig.
I like it. Very good. All right. So Greg, we've talked about a lot today. Any other words of wisdom? Because I know you would just have a ton.
Yeah, well, we haven't asked for much words of wisdom, so I got tons of it. I've got 100 songs, but I think we'll do that. We'll do one.
Do your favorite song.
All right. Well, I'll do my favorite aha lately. I've got a new book out. It's called Wealth Made Easy. And for 3 years, I went around and interviewed people worth $100 million to $1 billion. And I want to know what their wealth hack was. You know, what did they do one thing different than somebody else? And the person who gave me the biggest aha wasn't a billionaire, but he's a good friend of mine named Mark Anthony Bates. And he taught me something called CPC. And if I would have learned this when I was in my 20s, would have changed my life. So people paying attention, this is it. I'm going to give you the golden gem, the golden goose right here, okay? CPC. It's an acronym that stands for clues, patterns, choices. First of all, it's about accountability and responsibility for every single thing that happens. Stop blaming other people. It's your fault. And it works like this. I'm a single guy. If I go out on a first date and the woman's 20 minutes late, that's the first C, which is a clue, a little red flag, but anything could happen. But if I go out on the 5th, 6th, 7th date, and every time she's 20 minutes late, that forms the P, which stands for pattern. Now it's my C, choice, whether I deal with it, yell at her, break up with, but it's not her fault. She's just late. Stop trying to change other people to fit in your own paradigm. But how many times have we seen someone with a bad reputation in business? They cheat your best friend. You do business thinking it'll be different for me. And when things go wrong, you're mad at the person. You saw the clue, you saw the pattern, you made the choice. It's like seeing a rattlesnake rattle, bite your kid's sister. You go to pet it, get bit, and you're mad at the snake.
Yeah.
Look, looking back in our entire existence on this planet, we're very rarely upset about bad relationships we went into or bad business dealings. We're just angry that we held on too long.
Right.
Because we saw the clue, we saw the pattern, but we made a bad choice of staying into something that was toxic. That's it.
Yeah. And, you know, we were talking before yesterday, and, you know, I have 6 kids. The very first one, the clues, is something I'm teaching them to do right now. Like, you will notice things and you might get mad at a person, yet you might have some responsibility for their actions.
Correct. And here's the most important thing is that when you're looking for these clues, people will tell you everything you need to know. Just people won't hear it. You know, you'll see a 14-year-old girl who gets her heart broken, but the guy said, "Don't fall in love with me. I'm just going to break your heart." Oh no, but it'll be different. He pretty much told you. People won't
You were
listen.
warned.
You were warned.
You were warned.
Or you go do a business deal and someone says, "Hey, be careful about that person." So you know everything's there. That's why I'm saying you were rarely mad. You know, we're mad at the other people, but we should be mad at ourselves because we knew better.
Right. And a lot of times we do know better and we don't want to admit it.
Correct. So
and we do it anyways.
The most successful people I've ever met on the planet, all they do is they see the clue, the pattern, and they make their choices instantaneously. That's why they have so few friends. That's why they have few people in their sphere of influence. But the most successful people are also the most accessible people. And door number 2 is that surround ourselves with people we have respect for, not people we have only influence over. So many people spend their time around people that, you know, they have their cronies underneath them, even whether they're employees, friends, or people they grew up with, rather than people that have respect for that are accomplishing what you could only dream.
Yes. So what is it? You are the 5 people you surround, the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with the most.
And your income, attitude, and lifestyle is the average of the group. And even that could be virtual, to be quite frank. You know, so it'd be very,
absolutely.
very,
So I have a lot more contact with people virtually than I do in person. Some of my best friends I don't see for a year. I see them on Zooms.
Yeah. Well, you are a nomad. So what is home? So
home is a 37-foot camper right now.
On the West Coast.
On the West Coast. It's a lot of fun though.
I know, huh?
I know. All right. So Greg, tell me, people after listening to this interview, they're going to want to find you and learn more about you. Where would you like them to find you?
Google. You'll find me.
He's everywhere.
Yeah.
He has his own.
What's really interesting though, if you go to Instagram, I'm really heavy there right now. Greg S. Reid, DM me. I respond to everybody. It doesn't go to a secretary, it goes right to me. My only request is I don't talk about the weather, what you ate for dinner, the kids, whatever, homework. Just say, hey, look, I'm looking for a business book. I'm looking for a contact over here. And I'd be glad to respond instantaneously and get you whatever you need.
Be specific.
What?
All right. Thank you. This was a wonderful interview. I know you're not supposed to say thank you. I just did. I'll work on that. I enjoyed this interview. So thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Ruby Road Stage Tour. This is Carmen Ventrucci. Stay tuned for another great episode coming up soon.
Keep smiling.